Hi, today I'm going to discuss two cloud offerings directed at endpoint security. I'm going to discuss the distinct differences in security visibility features on each platform. VIPRE Endpoint Cloud Security versus WebRoot Secure Anywhere Endpoint Protection. My initial screening is going to be how quickly a security analyst like myself can get up to speed of what's going on in their infrastructure, and more specifically, how quick an analyst can investigate a new threat seen on their network. In real-life scenarios, phishing campaigns are launched daily at enterprises, and time is of an essence of how quickly an analyst can see what's going on in their infrastructure. A cloud offering that has clear visibility and timeline analysis is critical in stopping today's threats. Along with a detailed dashboard, notifications are equally important. When VIPRE detects a threat, you receive a threat notification email, as you can see here. Right away, we can see Julie's laptop received an email threat notification, and email protection blocked the threat from happening. You can see the threat name, MD5, and some attributes. I'm going to make note of this name of the threat so we can go ahead and look on the VIPRE Cloud Console to try to see what's going on in our network. You can actually follow the link or tap it directly along with this link right here, but since I have it already open, we will just go straight there. Right away, the first thing as security analyst that draws my attention is I need a quick overall security posture of my network. Looking at VIPRE's dashboard, I have a complete look of what's going on in real time. Up top here, you have the quarantine status of quarantine threats, how many devices have been affected, how many devices need attention, how many are not communicating, how many have outdated defs, detection sources by AP, email, scanned, all clickable. On the left here, we have top 10 active threats going on in our network right now. On the right, the top 10 devices with threats. The severity breakdown, protection summary of how many devices are protected and how many in each policy, all linkable. Agent version spread, also linkable in the pie chart. How many seats we have used and if our license is current or not. In the middle here, we have a unique timeline analysis with graphs that show scans, how many threats are detected, the timestamp for the week, and how many devices currently have threats. Going back to the email, I'm going to focus in on the email, the threat name that was noted. Right away, I see that's one of the top 10 active threats going on in my network. Investigating a little further, if I click that, it's going to bring me to a new page. Instantly, we have instances of this threat versus devices in a time frame. Right away, we can see that it started sometime around September 7th on 30 different devices at 59 unique times. You can see how it propagated in different days. We have the detection source that came in, AP, scan, or email, the actions taken, the top 10 devices that have been affected by it, each with instances of how many times. The detection times over here, the time format stamps, the device names, the policy, the source, like above here, severity, of course, and the action taken. Since we had an email alert from Julie's laptop, we're going to focus in on her. Before we do that, though, we're going to filter, and we're going to drill down only for email detection since it was an email alert. Right away, this bar graph and timeline feature changes. And we see with only email threats that now we have 13 unique devices, and it occurred 16 times, happening around the 7th, maybe in the middle of the night to the 8th. And you can see how that over time changed. Since we go to Julie's laptop, we can select this and say she had 4 unique detections from the source for email, all at different times. Right away, we can see it happen at 1:49 a.m., but we need to know and dig a little deeper to find out if was this the first occurrence and how did this get into the network. So if we deselect this, we can go back here, and we're going to change this to go back to the first occurrence, and right away we can see that it actually occurred on a Windows Exchange box on our network and also hit the primary domain controller. If we select the machine, the Exchange box, we get a brief summary of everything going on this machine, domain, IP, last user. We have the ability to stop, reboot, uninstall, and delete the device straight from this page. We can see the threat definitions are out of date. We can update right directly from here. The status, it needs attention because the threat defs are out of date. Last scan, no threats found. We can have the ability to initiate a quick or full scan from here. Last seen, agent, how many tasks are pending, anything in the quarantine, and a quick 7-day summary broken down that are linkable. Scans, we can dig a little deeper individually. You see what was scanned, what was found, what was done. Quarantine, threats. We can see the threat found, timestamp. We can filter by severity, source, action taken, or threat name. And in conjunction with VIPRE's main dashboard, timeline analytics is a unique timeline feature. Here you can see this goes from 6 till now because of this threat. You can see sources you can filter by. A quick breakdown will show 6 threats, severity, how many in each, scan, email, AP, or you can drill down specifically and change this. But we'll leave all sources. Right away, what we want to do is go to the bottom, and we can see clearly that this threat came in at 1:48 a.m., 1 minute before Julie's machine. You get a quick breakdown, threat version, agent version, was it cleaned or not? You hit event details, and it gives you a little bit more information of MD5 and the location. Right away, the timeline analytics with VIPRE Cloud gives me a direct insight of what's going on in my network. So I can quickly go out to the dashboard. I can gather threat intel, devices, what I need to lock down, what I need to isolate, and go from there. In comparison with WebRoot, here's WebRoot's dashboard. Right away, we have something a little different here. 2 endpoints need attention. We click this. We see how many endpoints are needing attention, how many threats seen on this endpoint. To gather this data, you must highlight and select. Once that happens, you can see the files that were detected, path name, malware group, last seen. Selecting any one of them will bring you to a new timeline feature. A little different than VIPRE's. You have determination bad in the timestamp. Globally, first seen on the network, last and first seen on the endpoint, first and last seen on a network. This is a little bit confusing to me, being a security analyst, because I'm assuming that all my endpoints are on a network. So I would have to dig in a little deeper to find out what is going on here. But none of this is clickable. There are file attributes right here. None of this is clickable. File name, you get the hash. File size. How many endpoints have been countered this file? Once again, none of this is clickable. The only thing clickable and deselectable on this page is perspective for globally network and endpoint, where you can deselect the timeline graph here. I don't know why you would want to do that, because you really need to see every endpoint that's affected on your network that's relevant to this file. And like I said, between these circles here, it's a little bit conceiving and confusing to me. So you have to X out to get out of here, which brings you back to the other Dropbox. You can select different files, which brings you the same pop-up boxes and different timeline analysis. To get out of here, you have to close out to get back to the main dashboard. If we received an email alert in comparison, just like VIPRE and say WebRoot sent me an email alert notification, the next thing I would want to investigate, if we're going through the same routine, would be down here to recently infected endpoints. These you can click in this bar graph, how many agents need, which brings you kind of like the same format how it was before. You select the file, and it brings you the same timeline analysis, which is nothing is clickable, searchable, drilling down further. To me, right away, I'm getting replicated data by looking at this. So let's go down here to see if we're getting anything different. The host name isn't clickable, as in with VIPRE you could. The only thing viewable and clickable is a global policy, which shows you the settings and configuration, what's on. What I'm really concerned with is the last infection time and block program. So I would have to click view here. And I'm getting a similar dialog box with file name, path name, malware group. By clicking that, I'm brought to another replication of the same timeline that I've seen before on the main dashboard for endpoints encountering threats. Exactly the same for the same threat name. Close out of there, close out of there. The only other difference on here I would see would be the agent version spread. And you can click these, but there's nothing clickable. It just gives you a host name, first seen, last seen of endpoints running and what version number. Other than that, there's a little box down here, drop down for last endpoint activity, where it has a retention of 90 days, not seen in a total. Looking overall and comparing on both cloud offerings, I was expecting something different with WebRoot. I was expecting to have some more robust features like VIPRE Cloud. It's evident that they use the same format on two different features, drilled down and replicating the same data a couple times. To me, this is valuable time that I'm left trying to drill through to find new data, and I'm actually just re-seeing the same data twice. Being a security analyst, you need to stop a threat from propagating your network quickly. You need to gather quick threat intel. In comparison, VIPRE does not do this, and every table, every graph, every index is capable of drilling down deeper within your network, giving you more threat intel and what you need. Overall, when comparing these two products against each other for basic threat investigation, I feel I'm stuck guessing a little bit with WebRoot and hoping that the data is accurate. And if I'm protected, I have a sense of being incomplete because I'm seeing data being replicated over and over again. In comparison with VIPRE Cloud, I have a complete end-to-end reconnaissance and timeline analysis when a threat is first seen, last seen. The number of impacted systems, the capability of drilling down deeper within each system so I can quickly stop and remediate my network. In both of these platforms, if the file and threat notification was a bot on my network, I could have quickly neutralized this threat and locked down and isolated my network with VIPRE Cloud. Whereas with WebRoot, I'm afraid I just didn't have enough valuable data to do so, and I would have been left stuff wondering if I locked down the correct machines and remediated correctly. One last thing to point out is VIPRE's timeline analysis is something I've never seen in endpoint protection. It's very valuable data. It looks to be cutting edge, straight out of the box, whereas compared to WebRoot, it's simplistic in nature. To me, I have a lot of valuable data with VIPRE Cloud, and every click gives me intelligence, where I have too many clicks and too many closeouts to get not enough data with WebRoot. My vote goes to VIPRE Cloud on this use case.